Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. My name's Scott Davis, and I'm the program's chair for the American Gem Society's Young Title Holders, which is hosting today's webinar. The mission of the Young Title Holders is to encourage the growth and development of new driven professionals while building connections and a voice among the next generation of AGS leaders. If you're interested in learning more or getting involved, please visit us at ags.org/AGSYT. Today, we are hosting a panel from Diamonds Do Good. During this presentation, I'd like you to please direct all of your questions to the Q&A section and maybe even list the panelists that you're asking the question to. With that being said, please welcome our presenters.
Okay, sorry, it's not letting me share or move the presentation. There we go.
Hi, thank you AGS and thank you Diamonds Do Good for giving us this opportunity to sort of look at the journey of natural diamonds as they make their way from the depths of the earth onto eventually a piece of jewelry. My name is Dr. Ulrika Danes Johansson, and I'm the Senior Manager of Diamond Research at GIA. My background is I did a PhD in diamond physics and have been doing diamond research for over 15 years.
Rebecca, you're on mute.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Forster. Thank you for joining this webinar today. It's a pleasure to be here as both president of Alrosa USA, the largest diamond mining company in the world, and also as president of Diamonds Do Good. We hope that you'll see the value in today's discussion about the journey of the diamond from the ground through to the end consumer, and be engaged with our conversation about ethical business and why that's so important for our natural diamond segment today.
Hi, I'm Mark Klein, and I'm Director of Operations at Julius Klein Group.
And Nancy.
Oh, sorry, Mark, I thought you were going to give a little bit more background. Okay, so, and I'm Nancy Orm-Lyman, the Executive Director of Diamonds Do Good. I've had this role for the last 10 plus years. If you guys know me, it's one of my passions. It is my passion. I love what I do, and I love speaking about natural diamonds and the journey that they have from the incredible beginnings of time to being something that probably is the oldest thing you're going to ever own. I think it's magical, it's wonderful, and how it impacts communities all along the pipeline is a story that needs to be told. It's important to consumers, and it differentiates us from a lot of the categories, and it's just a very unique proposition. Very briefly, Diamonds Do Good started about 15 years ago after our co-founders did a fact-finding mission to Southern Africa to find out about diamonds, about natural diamonds, and to see how they were benefiting the communities from which they were mined. They were inspired to come back by the Honorable President Nelson Mandela, who they met with in Mozambique, to come back to the United States to tell this incredible story behind natural diamonds and to help balance the narrative surrounding these incredible, wonderful gems. The Diamond Empowerment Fund is what we were originally called. We're now referred to as Diamonds Do Good because that really encompasses what our mission is and talking about these positive stories. We raise money in order to help with education and entrepreneurial efforts in diamond mining areas around Africa, in the Northwest Territories of Canada, and of course in India, where 1 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 diamonds are cut and polished. And our stories of impact, they really range from telling the stories behind the mining companies and what they do in terms of their community stewardship, their impact in the community. We talk, Mark will talk about manufacturers and how they give back along the cutting and polishing line. And of course, the retailers and the incredible amount of community support that you give where you do business. And these are all stories that we know consumers need to hear, they want to hear. And if you're not telling this kind of story, you're really losing an opportunity to sell these incredible gems. We have a new initiative in order to encourage designers to start using natural diamonds in their designs. It's called Project Bracelet, and it'll define our organization along the important themes of growth, unity, and equality. We just launched this, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Eureka.
Thank you, Nancy. So today I'll be taking us through the journey of the natural diamond, how they form, and all of the little secrets that they're able to reveal. Diamond is truly a wondrous material and unique geologically speaking. So I think you might enjoy this. Next slide, please. Okay, so today I'm representing effectively diamond scientists. So natural diamond science is an extremely dynamic research area that involves gemological institutes such as GIA, as well as universities and mining companies, and has over the years been driven by both gemologists and PhD level scientists. It is a true hardcore science area. It's key to understanding the superlative properties of diamonds, as well as the way that they have formed in the earth. And natural diamonds are unique in that their inclusions and the material itself is able to reveal some of the most enigmatic secrets of the deep earth and its evolution. So it really creates this, it's able to answer a lot of these sort of big picture questions. Next slide, please. The fascination with diamond has gone through the ages. For instance, here we have a quote from Pliny the Elder, a naturalist from the Roman Empire, so nearly 2,000 years ago, who said that diamond is not only the most valuable, not only of precious stones, but of all things in the world. So even back then, it was recognized as something truly unique. Next slide. If we're going to discuss diamond science, we really need to take a step back and consider what is diamond in the first place. Well, what you can see here on the left is a little cartoon that shows these little gray carbon atoms that have this unique tetrahedral lattice arrangement. And this bonding configuration is really the true origin of its great properties, such as its hardness, thermal conductivity, the optical transparency, and the refractive index. All of those that combined are able to give us this sparkly gem material. Slide, please. Now, when we consider natural diamond formation, it's good to place it in context relative to some other gem materials. Now, the majority of minerals that are available at the surface that we use as gemstones have formed in the Earth's crust, which is only about 5 to 70 kilometers in depth, or 3 to 45 miles. Now, this is really shallow in the whole scheme of things. On the other hand, diamonds form deep, deep, deep within the Earth by carbon-containing fluids and rocks that are present at pressures and temperatures that are necessary for diamond crystallization. Translated, that means that most diamonds formed at 150 to 200 kilometers in depth, but some even as far down to 700 kilometers. It's truly the deepest material that we are able to hold in our hands. Next slide, please. What we see here is a cartoon just showing a little cross-section of the lithosphere and the mantle of the Earth. And you can see that there are diamonds that are peppering through the lithosphere underneath the continent here, this little keel that we'll be discussing in the next few slides, as well as some super deep diamonds that are about 700 kilometers in depth. Now, those diamonds that are super deep can actually be extremely unique. Some of them are known as clipper diamonds, a Cullinan-like diamond. So those large, famous, colorless diamonds that have been found through the ages, they are oftentimes linked to these super deep depths. Additionally, blue diamonds, such as the Hope diamond and other boron-containing diamonds, are also formed at these super deep depths. So they're truly remarkable in their origin. Go to the next slide. So how do we even access these stones? I mean, they're very, very deep down. So as a frame of reference, the deepest hole that humans have ever dug is only 2.2 kilometers deep in Russia. So that's about 7.6 miles, so very, very shallow. These diamonds that are coming from those extreme depths have been transported to us through a fiery journey, through these explosive volcanic eruptions. The primary source rock that is containing diamonds is known as kimberlite. It has this sort of bluey green type texture to it. Now, these explosive eruptions, they occurred in a matter of hours. So the speeds of this material being brought up to the surface is about 20 meters per second, so very, very fast. And they occurred a long, long time ago. The most recent diamond-bearing eruption occurred over 20 million years ago in Australia. The fact that these diamonds have survived this tumultuous journey up to the surface is truly a testament to diamonds' resilience. Next slide, please. Okay, so we know that we need to look for some kimberlite types. Well, these kimberlites are associated with cratons. Cratons are the oldest parts of the continents. They are greater than 2.5 billion years old. So in this map, we can see different regions that have been highlighted in browns and grays, and those are the oldest parts of the Earth. And as you can see here, those are also the regions where we're finding all these different diamond mines. Now, the reason is that archaic cratons have thick and cool lithospheric roots that produce the necessary conditions for diamond formation. We move on to the next slide. Okay, so now we're starting to look, going from the full world, we're going down to the cratons, so a smaller region. However, the kimberlites, they can actually look very, very small from the top surface. They can be a matter of just a few hundred meters in depth. So you're looking for something that's truly a needle in a haystack. Additionally, once you find a kimberlite, only about 3% of those kimberlites are going to be considered diamondiferous, meaning that they have more than 1 carat per 100 tons of material. So for instance, here we have the Letseng mine on the right, and you can see this little arrow that's pointing out a little speck of color. That is one of these 50-ton trucks. And as a frame of reference, that truck, if you were to stand next to it, you wouldn't even come up to the rim of the wheel. They're extremely, extremely large. So this 50-ton truck, if it's full of material, will only contain in total weight 0.5 carats of diamonds. Another challenge that we have in diamond mining is that oftentimes these diamondiferous pipes are actually located in extremely remote parts of the world. So for instance, Alrosa does a lot of mining in remote parts of Russia, but then there are other companies that do mining in Canada or in the highest mountains of Lesotho, or even potentially underneath the deserts of Botswana. So these are remote and potentially very inaccessible regions of the Earth where you have to build a lot of infrastructure. And then finally, the diamond value, the amount of stones that they're able to extract and the quality of those stones is going to determine finally the economic viability of the site. Again, just trying to place it in context, you will potentially need to process over 100,000 tons of ore of this kimberlite material in order to produce a single rough diamond that is suitable for a 1 carat D flawless diamond. So natural diamonds are truly rare. Next slide. When diamonds are growing, they grow along different crystallographic directions. There are two main crystal forms that are created with diamond growth. One of them, the primary one, is going to be the octahedral habit, which effectively looks like two pyramids, square-based pyramids that are stuck together. Now, you will have seen some images of some natural, beautiful, rough octahedral specimens that look like that. However, as they're making their way up to the surface in these kimberlite eruptions, or potentially even when they're residing in the earth, the fluids surrounding are going to start etching the stone, slowly but surely. And you'll see that the edges and And the tips of these pointy stones are actually going to be rounded until you end up with a dodecahedral habit. So there's a full range of different diamond shapes that can be found in the earth, and they have to do a lot with the natural diamond formation process and also the way that it came out to the surface. Slide, please. Now, when diamonds are forming and growing, they are going to incorporate small lattice irregularities. And this can be both during the growth process and also during the residence in the earth, the time that they spend just sitting in the earth. Now, these minute irregularities are known as color centers because they can introduce color and potentially even fluorescence. And when I say that these are very small, we're talking about atomic level type configurations. And you can see here a little illustration of what's known as the N3 defect. So that's 3 nitrogen atoms surrounding the vacancy. And the concentrations are very, very low. We're talking the orders of parts per billion or parts per million carbon atoms. So very low concentrations can have a huge impact on the stone. And this can actually introduce some very desirable qualities, such as color. The N3 defect is what's responsible for the beautiful yellow color of these 2 diamonds shown here. Additionally, if you were to illuminate the stones with deep UV light, they would start glowing, giving you this fluorescent behavior that's blue, and that's directly linked to the N3 defect. Now, one of the neat things is that if you illuminate these diamonds with deep UV fluorescence, you can actually start seeing a little bit of the growth structure, the unique fingerprint of the diamond. You can think of a diamond almost as if you were to have a tree trunk and you were to chop through it. You can see all these different growth rings, and that's unique to the tree. This is the same type of pattern that we are finding in natural diamonds. So, slide, please. In addition to color centers, the diamond might also trap non-diamond materials within it. So these are the inclusions that we sometimes observe in the gem trade. Now, I know that in the gem trade, some people might not be the fondest, might not be too in love with natural diamond inclusions, but on the other hand, they're extremely valuable and very unique. They're the only way that scientists are able to access some of these minerals from the deep earth. So it gives us a very good indication of the composition of the deep earth, how the diamond formed, at what depth it formed, and potentially even allows us to date the diamonds. Next slide. Here we have a snapshot of some of the amazing inclusions that have been found in natural diamonds. And again, this is something that is truly unique to natural diamonds. And you can see that they can be truly beautiful in their own right as well. And when you have them, you have trapped something from the deep earth as well, in addition to your very old diamond. On the right-hand corner, you can see this little black speck, and in the middle of it, there's something that looks slightly silvery. Now, this is a sulfide inclusion, which is extremely valuable to the scientific community because it's by studying this inclusion that we're able to date diamonds. Next slide. If we consider the age of diamond formation, it's good to place it in context with how old the Earth is. So the age of the Earth is about 4.56 billion years old. Now, the oldest diamonds are 3/4 of that age. They're 3.5 to 3.3 billion years old. So they have formed an extremely long time ago. If we move on to the next slide, we can see that even the youngest diamonds that have been dated to date are about 90 million years old. So all diamonds in all locations are extremely old. As a frame of reference, we have this dinosaur here. So the end of the dinosaur era was over 65 million years ago. Next slide, please. Now, diamonds truly give us a window into the deep earth, and it has allowed us to elucidate some of Earth's enigmas. They are considered to be a geologist's best friend. They have given us insight into continent formation, ancient plate tectonics, the movement of materials and elements within the earth, and finally, the composition and heterogeneity of the mantle. These are the only way that scientists are able to study the deep earth. And it has led to the publication of some extremely high-profile papers. Next slide. Now, there's obviously an increase in consumer interest in the journey of natural diamonds, as well as our country of origin. By being able to link your diamond to its original story, its origin story, you're able to enhance its emotional value. There are several initiatives within the trade that are trying to enhance and highlight this diamond traceability, such as the GIA Diamond Origin Reports or blockchain ventures. By considering and linking a natural diamond to its origin and the way that it has formed in the deep earth, you are able to demonstrate to the consumer that you are truly holding something spectacular. It is the oldest material that they will ever hold. It is one of the most resilient materials on earth. And it is something that came from depths that are beyond imagining. Thank you very much. I will lead on now to Rebecca.
Wow, well, thank you so much. That was really fascinating, even for myself. Great information. And clearly what it shows us is these truly remarkable gifts of nature. And because we're so lucky to have these gifts of nature, we also have to understand how important they are globally to so many communities and people around the world, that without the ability to have mining and to bring these true treasures to the surface of the earth and to take them along their journey until they become really special things that people can buy for all kinds of emotional reasons, and to provide gifts and elements of joy and love. We have to change the narrative around diamonds and diamond mining. There's no question that today, if we look at the journey of the diamond and everybody involved in the supply chain, that as an industry, we are all concerned with CSR and sustainability and the importance of doing ethical business. So it's really time to change that narrative. And as a spokesperson for Alrosa, being the president of Alrosa USA, I'm always proud to talk about how doing good and ethical business is such an important part of the DNA of Alrosa. For those of you that don't know, we are the largest diamond mining company in the world. We have over 12 mines, as we heard before, located specifically in the area called Yakutia, which is really known more familiarly as Siberia, right on the Arctic Circle. And there we have so many people who, without the business of diamond mining, would have no livelihood, would have no education, would have no ways of really of surviving, because it's in such a remote area. And so I think there's no better way than for me to share with you a video that was created when actually Alrosa received a very important honor and reward at a Diamonds Do Good dinner a couple of years ago, to give us credit for having this approach to diamond mining and sustainability. So without further ado, I'd like to share this video with you. I think it tells the story better than I can. And I hope you'll agree that after seeing this video, diamonds, in fact, really do good.
In the distant and vast region of Yakutia are the high plains of the Siberian tundra. The vastly unexplored area is filled with pristine lakes, rivers, and breathtaking landscapes. It is also home to the world's largest reserves of natural diamonds and the dynamic community of Mirny, stewarded under the wings of the world's foremost diamond mining company, Alrosa. Mirny has a thriving population of 35,000 and came into existence only after the discovery of a Kimberlite diamond pipe in 1955, which brought thousands to the otherwise unpopulated region. Since the search for diamond deposits was top secret, geologists sent a coded letter to Moscow writing, "Like the peace pipe, the tobacco was excellent." Thus, the town was given the name of Mirny, the Russian word for peace. And Alrosa's dedication to supporting community goes beyond creating the foundation for a peaceful society, providing the necessary infrastructure for workers and their families. Last year alone, the company put 3% of its revenue towards social programs and holds social policy at the core of its mission. Last year, the company allocated $150 million, resulted in more than 500 social and charity initiatives. Alrosa has launched and maintained dozens of programs to support education, healthcare, and culture, and makes considerable investments into environmental protection, sustaining the traditional way of life and culture of the indigenous ethnic people of the North. To emphasize a diamond's positive impact to communities, Alrosa has developed a special initiative called Diamonds That Care. A percentage of every piece of diamond jewelry sold in this collection will be allocated to charity chosen by the consumer among an array of options. This will empower consumers to be part of how diamonds truly do good. Alrosa understands the sentimental value of the diamonds they mine, and caring for the communities where those diamonds are found is a task they gladly undertake. We honor Alrosa today with the Community Stewardship Award for their commitment to giving back, an everyday example that diamonds truly do good.
So today we talked about Alrosa specifically, but this is a global phenomenon that we see whether it's in the Northwest Territories or whether it's in Botswana. Here you see an image which is so powerful, how Gaborone in Botswana looked before the diamond industry and diamond mining came to be, and how it looks now today. It's one of the most thriving, growing centers in the world, primarily due to the diamond industry. And there are thousands of other stories like this to tell, whether it's from Argyle or any of the major mining regions of the world. So again, it's really important that we understand this, because we always hear about negative things, but the reality is there's so much more positive going on in the world of diamonds. And it's something that as an industry, we need to all be educated on and be prepared to tell that story, because it does mean so much and really enhances the value of a diamond, because every diamond really does have a story. Turning it over to Mark now.
Hello. Hi, Mark Klein, Director of Operations at Julius Klein Group. And I thank you, Rebecca, for the pass on, and Ulrika for the science. What I wanted to talk about today is, where Ulrika was kind enough to show us the journey of the stone, how it comes out of earth, and Rebecca, how large organizations and governments can work together and create what I would say some really form of unity to do good. That is the important thing. But to me, our company is completely family owned and operated. I'm third generation diamandaire, and we have offices and factories all over the world, but we're primarily, and we operate out of 47th Street, the Diamond District in New York. And to me, I grew up in this industry, so I have a little bit of a different perception, because to me, diamonds always did good. I mean, it helped my family and my cousins and my relatives, and the amount of family businesses that are in this industry far supersedes most industries out there. And that building of family and community is something that's completely and always been in my mind growing up in the industry, and always been in something in our company's genes and DNA. What I wanted to talk about today is a little bit how the artistry and the craftsmanship of a skilled worker can enhance that journey from the earth through the mines right into a polished stone. And what some of the employees that work for us, whether it's in our New York offices or other factories, which we're going to get to, have been skilled workers for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years almost. And the ability to be able to do that is something I wanted to talk about and go beyond of what New York and show how diamonds really do good. And we're going to use the next slide, and Nancy can roll us over there, to talk about a little bit what we did. In 2007, we expanded our operations into Namibia, which is another country in Africa, similar to how the story of Rebecca just referred to in Botswana. But the mines were discovered there, beautiful crystals. And we reached out right away with mining companies and with the government there to be able to set up a state-of-the-art facility. But we really wanted to approach this not just, how diamonds have been, like Rebecca said, not just something negative. Let's just not just take the diamonds out of this country and bring them, where we can sell them and make money, but do it in a way where it's mutually beneficial to the country there and enhance the living for the people in Namibia. So we had a 2-point approach to this, and one of them was to establish long-term sustainable manufacturing, which is what we're doing as ourselves as a whole as a company, which we do already. And the idea was we need to transfer these skills that we've as a company have acquired over 3 generations and decades and pass that on to the Namibian people to be able to grow on their own. So we built a beautiful state-of-the-art facility there, and we'll move on to the next slide and we'll show a little bit more about what we're doing there. The idea was to integrate, skills and development, not just, like I said, taking a piece of rough and cutting it, but we're training constantly. This is one of the first, there's really no school for diamonds per se. You can learn on the scientific value, GA, but most of the actual artistry and craftsmanship that's done is learned by apprenticeship. It's been passed on through a lot of generations, through family, father to son, cousins, relatives, nieces and nephews. Those are the types of people who are always gathering this type of skill in this industry. The idea of having an actual diamond trading cutting school was relatively new at that time. And what we did was not just, okay, we're going to have cutters, cut, but we integrated through all the levels of the manufacturing process. What does that mean? Sewing, marking, polishing, bruting, control, because you can't just have learn one stage of the process. We wanted to actually train and teach the people of Namibia the full process of the manufacturing. Not that they should only be just working at one level, but again, not everyone necessarily has the skill set to polish a stone. You have to have a little bit of that artistry, that eye and hand-eye coordination. So by enabling them not just learning one part of the process, which would be, we're not enabling them fully, we've really integrated training into all the levels of the manufacturing process. And we found, and the next slide, how well this worked out, because not just were we able to train so many people, but over the course and within over 3 years, so from 2007 when we initially started this project to right past 2010, which at that point, as you understand from a global perspective, was very difficult with a huge economic recession. But at that time, we were still able to have 85% of our workforce there from local Namibian workers. So that means where we started in 2007 and we brought in 2-3 trainers and had 0 workers, within the course of 3 years, we had 85%. And you can see here, there's a few dozen employees throughout the factory. And we've been able to, build a culture where there are workers and they're coming in and coming through, and whether they're staying with us and moving on and continuing till today where we're manufacturing there, or even moving on to other parts of the industry, we were able to really, I think that was, to me, one of the most impressive feats, to have local workers cutting the stones locally and then distributing them out to other places of the world. It really enables the country, really enables the story. It really shows that we're doing good, not just for the industry, but for the people who are, providing us these stones. On to the next slide, we could see not just that, when we wanted to expand from Namibia into Botswana and other countries, the government of Botswana actually compiled a letter for us, which he wrote to quote, "It was a staunch endorsement, was based on Julius Klein's contribution and the economical, social uplifting of Namibia." We didn't just, the government saw it themselves. The fact that we were able to turn around, and this is, again, it's not a new story. Like what Rebecca said before, it happened in Russia, it's happened in Botswana today, and a lot of other places. When set up properly, the amount of good the diamond is doing, it's a win-win situation for everybody. I think that's really important focus on the journey. When we're talking about a stone, we're at a point of sale. That's the idea here, is to show that, okay, it didn't just, we're all the retailers today are, and Rebecca mentioned it, is we're into our community. but it goes so much beyond the community where we are and where we're selling in our local community. It goes on to the community of the countries. It goes on to the communities all over the world, and the global community as a whole is really impacted positively, and diamonds are doing good. Beyond the industry, obviously, the community there, we also we contributed towards building schools and educating the children there, because beyond the diamond community in Namibia, we need to make sure the actual communities and the children of the employees there and the relatives of the employee there are having education, and we can really, for us and for the industry, really ensure the future of our industry and the future of these countries, and providing the facilities that these schools needed to be able to build something up. The last slide I have here today goes on to, it's a famous quote from Lao Tzu, who was a Chinese philosopher, but to me, that's what always resonated in something which is simple. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And these are just examples of some of the testimonies that we had from some of the employees there. And it wasn't just, like I said, and I'm trying to not be repetitive, but the ability for somebody to learn a trade, that it's not just giving someone a job for now, and it's instilling that passion and that craftsmanship and understanding and having that confidence of, these gemstones are coming from our country. We're able to produce them within our country. We're able to send them out globally and provide for our country, our families, our community. I think that really goes into full circle of what Diamonds Do Good represents, of what many of them and what all the mining companies like Alrosa represent, and what Julius Klein represents, and what we as an industry and a globe are striving for to get greater and greater to every day. And the point is that we have to focus on this, whether it's from the journey from the globe itself, or whether it's from the mining companies, or whether it's for the manufacturers such as ourselves. Every stage of the journey is doing an amazing job, and we're growing to do an amazing job to continue to give back and do good. And to me, Diamonds Do Good, like I said when I started, it's just an obvious sentence. It flows right, and it just sounds good, and I don't know of anything more true to my heart. Thank you very much. And now on to Nancy.
Thanks, Mark. And thanks, Rebecca and Eureka. I think what we're trying to do with this session, and really what the mission for Diamonds Do Good is, to really empower you as a retailer with this journey, to be able to carry and pass on these stories to your consumers, and your customers, so that there's a real emotional connection between a natural diamond and the next part of the journey of that diamond, which is in the gift, the self-gift that it creates between two people. We've seen this iconic symbolism of a natural diamond. We're hopefully giving you some buzzwords, words that you can use that will really help bring this incredible journey to resonate with your customers. We're talking about nature's rarest gift. Nothing in the world comes close to what a diamond can do in terms of, creating this emotional response. It's symbolizing, it's a love and commitment between two people. It's a gift you give to yourself to commemorate something that's so special in your life. This is timeless and forever, formed over 3 billion. In fact, I think it's even more than that years ago. It's the hardest substance known to mankind, the oldest item that you'll ever own, or I don't want to say own, because hopefully you'll pass things on to future generations. It's that important. And they're rare and finite. There's been an old quote that's, if all the diamonds ever polished since the beginning of time were to be gathered, they would only fill one double-decker bus. Now, if that's not rare, I don't know how else to show that natural diamonds are rare. They're a gift, and to be able to connect that gift and that emotion to your customers is so important, especially after we're still in this struggle. But I think this time that we've had to, self-reflect. Relationships are more important than ever. You've seen an uptick in wedding proposals and in wanting to share with even larger diamonds. There's just this specialness about a natural diamond, be able to really represent all that you've gone through this past year and how you want to really celebrate, moving forward as we all hope to be doing. And what do customers want? During COVID-19, there was skepticism, uncertainty, insecurity. Certainly, there's a huge issue with governments and trust. And consumers are now looking at businesses to have, to be able to tell them the truth, to be able to establish that trust. It's a responsibility, a big responsibility businesses have. It's also an opportunity. They know that customers need to know that the brands they're buying from are doing what's right. They need to know these stories of how the Julius Kleins of the world are not just going into Namibia to take out those diamonds, but to educate the people in order to give them that gift of a career in this with this beautiful gems. They want to know that there's a social purpose that each business adheres to, and certainly the mining companies like Alrosa. If they don't have a healthy population, they don't have a product to be able to sell. It's in everybody's best interest, but it's in their core DNA to make sure to support the communities where they do business, to provide education, healthcare, employment opportunities. That's what having a social purpose is all about. And if we don't start talking about our social purpose to consumers, they don't know that we have one. And it's a huge missed opportunity. Consumers want to engage with businesses that are transparent and honest, whether it's knowing where their diamond's origin is, or just salespeople that can understand that if they ask a question. This is a real question that happened at one of our retail board members. Customer came in and said, I want to have, understand about, the ethical, I want to look at some ethical diamonds, the ethical journey of diamonds. And one jewelry store told them, well, we're getting those in tomorrow. Now, that is just not the answer that anybody wants to hear. And that's clearly confusion on the part of a sales associate who, you get these questions and you get a little frozen in what you're supposed to say. So it's up to us as an industry, as businesses, to make sure that our sales forces are educated on what that means. We are an ethical business. Natural Diamonds is an ethical business because of how we take care of the communities where we do business. There's such a power behind the story. For first-time diamond buyers, the importance of connecting this story will keep them coming back for natural diamonds. And it's really, again, the retailer's responsibility to share with their responsible business practices and the kind of programming that they're supporting in their own community. It enhances the buying experience, increases the value of natural diamonds by sharing this. And it's really, again, the commitment shown by businesses to support these communities is the very definition of an ethical business. So some successful tips on sharing the stories: educate yourself and your staff, understand the good practices, make sure your staff understands, the journey of natural diamonds. Almost more important than the 4 C's is that 5th C of confidence, of conscience, of compassion, of community. And that's the 5th C that should be the first C that you talk about when you're talking about natural diamonds. And the Diamonds Do Good website has a plethora of information to help you share the story. If you go to our website, diamondsdogood.com, you look at the who we are section in the retailer toolkit, and there's just many pieces of content that you can share with your consumers. Even having just the logo Diamonds Do Good on your website, signals that you care about community. Linking it back to our site just showcases the the vast amount of positive impact there is with natural diamonds. So we really encourage you to access the information that we have. We're providing a roadmap that will be a little easier for retailers to be able to access some of this information, working with the Smithy Group. And it's the content is still there right now. We can help you with how to bring that into your stores, into your sales associates' narratives. But that more important for us is just to be sharing how important this mission and this message is. And you can see already how some other retailers are using our logo, whether it's on the website, sharing our stories on their Instagram posts. Rare and Forever has a whole section about how diamonds do good. So we're here to really be a resource for retailers, for brands, to be able to help really level the narrative surrounding natural diamonds and give natural diamonds the chance that they deserve to be, again, just those gifts of nature, as Rebecca said, and something that is just incredibly unique. So now we have questions and answers. I don't know if you have any questions. I think there was a chat box I haven't seen because I'm in full presentation mode. I don't have access to them. So I don't know if Erika or Rebecca or Mark, you see any questions, or if you want to add anything to what I've just said as in terms of a conclusion.
I think there's a question regarding mining in the Q&A, if Rebecca wants to address that.
The only thing I can say to that is I can only speak for Alrosa and the mining companies that I know. Of course, there's always people that are not following the ethical course of business, and it does continue to be somewhat of an issue. But I think the point of the webinar was to make sure that the narrative is really much more of a positive narrative these days than perhaps it was in the past. And that I think there are just too many consumers out there that aren't unaware of it. And in the past, we've kind of shied away from telling these stories because we are always afraid that it's going to bring up negative comments from Blood Diamond and things that have happened. There's always, in any industry, in any business, there's always going to be people that do not take the correct course. Our goal as an industry is to continue to try to eliminate that and to have courses of action that shut that kind of business and behavior down. So our intent was not to pretend that it doesn't exist, but it was more about giving everybody the tools to hear some of the great stories that are truly happening with the journey of a diamond. And so that we can talk about those stories of how diamonds do good to bring a higher value equation to the purchase of a natural diamond, which is so important for consumers today. As we know, they all look for where their diamonds came from, how they were mined or manufactured. And I think there's so many of these stories that we just need to make sure that we tell them. Because the more good that we show that we do, the more people will fall in line with that behavior.
I couldn't agree more with what Rebecca said. I'm just going to add in a drop that, I mean, the world as a whole, and one of the projects that Diamonds Do Good is launching now with this project Bracelet is that ethical responsibility, equality, whether it's equality within races, religions, or with globally, other countries to be equal. I mean, that is the goal here. The goal is, like you said, to shine the light on the good. Unfortunately, bad news spreads faster than good news. That's the effort we're putting forward here. That's the effort with Diamonds Do Good. And I think in collaboration, I want to also thank AGS. I mean, that's a society that in the US, it's establishing and creating a community of retailers that use these trustworthy pipelines and use these trustworthy manufacturers and miners and people you can trust. I mean, just like if you're an AGS member, it shows, you're part of that community of people who are good. We're trying to grow this great community and bilaterally and from every angle, make sure that we're all connected to the right people. And that's the point here. The point is to get that connection and bring the good forth.
Absolutely, Mark. Absolutely. Okay, I don't think there are any other questions here. So unless anybody else has anything else to share, Scott, do we want to?
Yeah, thank you all for joining us. We'll end now. You have our email addresses. We welcome and encourage an ongoing dialogue. And please do reach out to us. Hopefully we'll be seeing you on the road soon. I will be at Centurion coming up, my first big time in-person show. We hope to also be at JCK, and definitely hope to also see you in person at AGS Conclave.
Yeah, and any question is a good question, and some questions are hard, but honestly, I don't think we have anything to shy away from or not be able to answer. So if you think of anything else, absolutely, please reach out to us, because it's really important that we continue the dialogue.
Exactly. And when it comes to the story of natural diamonds and their formations and methods of separating them from laboratory grown diamonds, for instance, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Additionally, we do publish a lot of our work in Gems and Gemology, which is free and open access. So if you want to really go into the nitty-gritty of the details of these materials, it's all beautifully summarized there as well. So thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Have a great day.